The first part is the sunrise of the film. The club where Tony worked is closing for a redesign and he needs a job. A company suggests he enter an audition held by a music specialist looking for a driver. When he shows up, he lavish laughs. He discovers that the specialist is a dark old-fashioned musician named Don, and the pianist needs an escort to take him around when he visits the South. The two men no doubt realized they would undoubtedly cause problems in the extremely isolated South of the 1960s. But Tony needs cash and Don needs a professional driver who could handle him. The record company that paid Tony gave him a green book, which guide to where black could eat and rest in the neighborhood. Since many lodging and coffees were limited to white, there's no doubt that these two different people together seem like different things, especially at the time when people of color were strongly oppressed. However, it was a fairly simple thing to do, and there were probably plenty of hidden races at the time. On this expectation, it was a process of erosion between two personalities and the combined influence of three perspectives, for which many crazy, disturbing, and shocking things happen. At the end of the film, the white wife told the musician how grateful he is. The white man is very brutal and overbearing. But the musician has his own reason for having him, because along the way, no matter what kind of encounter, he was one to solve the character of weak people. When encountering such things, do not know how to deal with. As a result, after the end of the performance 2 months in time for Christmas back home, the drive test was successfully complete. The last time the musician went to the white man's house, spent the holidays, and also received a welcome from their entire family.
Sometimes prejudice is just like a mountain. It doesn't know where it comes from, but it is stubborn and everywhere, so is racial prejudice. White American discrimination against black people has a long history. It has undergone many changes, but it is still widespread. The recent demonstrations against violent law enforcement in many places in the United States are the best proof. Therefore, the film Green Book still has a strong political significance, which is its kind of sadness. Each conflict and troublesome event depend in inner communication of protagonists. They finally recognized and respected each other from the bottom of their hearts, established a profound friendship, and learned a lot from each other and they did not have. They begin to integrate and learn from each other.
White people pay me to play piano for them because it makes them feel cultured. But as soon as I step off that stage, I go right back to being just another nigga to them. Because that is their true culture. Except for that slide alone because I'm not accepted by my own people. Because I'm not like them either. So if I'm not black enough, and if I'm not white enough, and if I'm not mad enough, then tell me, Tony, what am I?
The film is set against the backdrop of the Jim Crow laws. The laws that segregate people of color in the southern state of the United States between 1876 and 1965. The story takes place in the segregated South in the 1960s, during the stranger period of the Jim Crow laws. The film begins with Tony waking up from the nap and the living room filled with his family, while his wife is in the kitchen with 2 black repugnant fixing things. The family cherished Tony for leaving his wife alone with the black. Words are used to secretively refer to black people by the color of their skin. Before the reprimand left, they drawn from Tony's family's water cups. Tony then threw the 2 water glasses in the trash. The setting of this episode reflects the several discriminations against black people by Tony and his family. Every poem out without culture, we cannot observe, and with culture, we are forever blind. In other words, each person lives in his or her own culture, which teach us many shared meanings and expectations and allow us to measure our culture groups in a fixed light.
Whatever you do it 100%. When you work, work. When you laugh, laugh. When you eat like it's your last meal.
Under the new global political and economic communication order, the relationship between film and intercultural communication theory has become an increasingly hot topic in humanities research. Cross-cultural communication of film has become a major trend, and the popularities of films around the world shows that audiences are more receptive to different cultures than traditional perceptions. As an important spiritual and cultural product, film has cultural connotation and functions of cultural communication, and its dissemination is not only limited to one country or region. With the continuous development of intercultural communication theory, scholars have paid much attention to the problems of cultural conflicts, cultural difference, cultural identity, and cultural imperialism in the process of intercultural communication.
Dear Dolores, when I think of you, I'm reminded of the beautiful plains of Iowa. The distance between them is breaking my spirit. My time and experiences without you are meaningless to me. Falling in love with you was the easiest thing I've ever done.
Nothing matters to me but you. And every day I'm alive, I'm aware of this. I loved you the day I met you. I love you today, and I will love you the rest of my life.
Intercultural communication is an emerging discipline in the context of Inclusion International. The influx of multiculturalism has created a multicultural environment where should strengthen our confidence and protection of our culture, increase awareness of the cultural crisis brought about by cultural hegemony and cultural infiltration, and always maintain our identity with our culture.